Yeah, this is some of the key nuanced kind of stuff that we did that we benefit from.
And two, this is something that I can, call back and run through or do a screen share anytime to, to run through and talk about. But here I saved that original larger image to my desktop, and it's man looking at spools test.jpg. Let's see the original size of it. So if I just mouse over it.
1130. The original size was 1130.
So the original picture right now is 2,000 pixels wide by 1123 tall. So the width is good, but it's 2 or 3 times taller than it could be or than it needs to be. So what I'm going to do is open it in a very good, simple editor. If you have Windows, if you have Microsoft Office tools, then one of the things that you're going to have is the Microsoft Office Picture Manager. You can have Photoshop, you can have Photoshop Express. Photoshop Elements is an older, very simple version of Photoshop that I like to use. It's really good, it's really nice. But this Microsoft Office Picture Manager is really good at doing simple edits, cropping, doing a little bit of highlighting, and to most PC users it's free because they already have it present because of Microsoft Office tools in place. So here's that Microsoft Office Picture Manager. I'm opening that up, and I'm going to make some edits to this particular picture. To begin with, I'm clicking on Edit Picture, and I'm going to crop. That's going to let me change the height of this. We know that the width, 2,000 wide, is pretty good, but let's say that I want to keep it about right there, and I want to bring it up to about right. Hello. I want to bring it up to about right here. It's letting me see what I am cropping to. And even if I just crop it to 700 pixels wide, I've made the picture smaller than it was before, and that's going to help with resolution and file size and the download time that it takes. So I'm just cropping right here. If I want to do some other edits, there are some other nice edits you can do here. Color edits and brightness edits. If you're pulling these as stock photos, they're probably going to be pretty well balanced, but you can come into things and do stuff like increase the saturation of the color just a little bit and change the brightness and stuff like that. Once I'm done, I'm clicking Save, and I'm done. I've edited the size of this picture, and it's now smaller than it was before. And if we mouse over it now, we're going to see that it tells us. It tells us now that it's 2,000 wide by 736 tall. The other thing that I do to prepare images for the web is I use an online tool called Optimizilla. There's a famous old FTP program called FileZilla, and those things come from Mozilla. But Optimizilla is the name of this, O-P-T-I-M-I Zilla. And it has the domain name imagecompressor.com, but Optimizilla is in my head, so I remember that one permanently. But what you do with Optimizilla is you drag images that you want to have it compress and see what it can do with the file size. Right now, this file is almost a meg. That's pretty big, especially if you're imagining you're going to download it over mobile. But if I drag this image into Optimizilla, it processes it, and it tells me that it could be 72% smaller in file size. And that's with it being at 89% quality, which to me is really high quality. If we take a look at the guy's face here, we can see that there's very little difference between the original 1.1 meg and the compressed version, 294 kilobytes. Same image, we haven't done anything else, we've just compressed it with a better compressor than JPEGs are made with Photoshop and some other things. Here, because I know this is a picture, I feel like I could go to about 70% quality, and the picture's still going to look really good. It's going to look, similar to what we were looking at before, and all the details are still going to be in good shape. So if I go ahead and apply that, we now have 175K for the file size. So I'm going to download it.
Oh, yeah. Perfect.
And it is much smaller than it was before. So here I'm going to kind of bring them up side by side so we can see them. Man looking at spool test, 1,033 kilobytes versus the hamsters in the inside of the computer taking a little bit longer. Anyways, it's a tenth the size because instead of being 1,033, the file ended up being 175. Notice that it renames the file, so it's man looking at spools test -min for minified or minimized. So 175 KB. Then I take that image, and that's the one I'd put up onto the website because it's just much smaller, more compressed, and ready to be downloaded more quickly.
So essentially what you're really saying is that any images before we put them in, we should really make sure that they're compressed before we put them in, so that way it'll minimize the amount of time it takes to download.
That's correct. Any image where it's a large image, and if you look at the file size and it's more than 400K, you should definitely consider running it through a process. Okay. If it's 100K, if it's 200K, you could probably still make it smaller, but it's up to you. You could kind of decide. There are some things in Google where Google will want you to make your images as small as you possibly can, but that's kind of a topic for later and for optimizing the site after it's been put together. You know, here I'm clicking to remove this slide. I'm sorry, remove the image from this slide, and I'm going to drag in the new one. So that's our new shorter image. That's our min version. And I'm going to hit update, and we've done that one slide. Oh, did I drop off the audio again?
No, you're fine.
Oh, it got quiet. I was worried. Well, I need to run in just a couple of minutes here. Let's run through bullet points. We talked about compressing images last here and some tricks there. How about the slide rotator, either for the home page or other internal pages? You in good shape to kind of work with those, and if you want to turn off these placeholders, feel free to go ahead and start making them inactive so you don't have to see them anymore. But are you in good shape to work with the slides and the rotator part of it now?
The only part of it is changing the order. If we want to change the order in which they were showing.
There
we got 3 slides up there now if you want to change the order and how they presented.
Yep. Every slide, when you first create it, if you don't do anything to change the order, it's in order 99. So they all run at the same order. But if you run slide and you change the order to 1, and then the other one is 5, and the next one is 7, and the next one is 99, then it's going to go 1, 5, 7, 99. It's numeric. It doesn't really matter. It's just an ordering number. So I tell people often try and put 5 in between. So make it 5 and 10 and 15 and 20. But it could just as easily be 100, 200, and 1 million. It'll follow that order.
But 99 is the standard default. It just says that the system will do whatever it decides to do if they're all shown like 99.
Exactly. If they all come, we have to pick some number. So 99 is our kind of default so that it goes to the end of the list. And then that allows you to put up new slides and say, oh, I want this one to be 1, and I want this one to be 2, and I want this one to be 7. And 99 always comes last. But if there are 3 7s in a row, then it's possibly going to be doing it by the updated date and then the number. But that's the best way to make order.
Okay. I realize you got to go.
Yep.
But I want to plant a seed with you as you leave in terms of, I know you said it's going to be us that you're going to be working on. I need, by the end of the day, for you to tell me when we're going to be able to view this and be able to, and then after that, when we're going to be able to publish.
Yep. I think Becky's been talking with you about that a good bit. One of my questions would be, if we have a list of pages that we're going to hide or turn off so that they're not visible to the public, and other ones that we're going to turn on visible to the public, we should probably run through that today or tomorrow and make your list. You could also do that. We can do that, but that's one of the steps that we run through so that then we could say, okay, once we've made those changes, these are the pages that we're going to have published in phase 1. Is everything finished on those? Or do we need some paragraph over here, or do we need some picture over there? So I think that's the first mini step, and then we all look at it and assess it together after that.
Okay. But on your end, back room stuff, how far along or how much left is there to do on your end and Dustin's end and Fred's end in order for you to, that's the kind of stuff I need to have in my,
Monday and Tuesday, we've been working with the menu to clean that up and get that running, and we have some style things that we were working on yesterday. Should be wrapping that up today. The product detail page needed some cleanup, and that was worked on yesterday. I'm making a pass through the site now, removing modules that I don't think you're going to use, hiding or kind of fixing up things. I'm about 5 or 6 pages into about 12 pages that I need to run through. That's happening now today. I think by the end of the day, much of that cleanup will be finished. Back-end stuff otherwise, I do have a question or a concern, but I want to get all my facts together before I bring it back and talk about it, but I want to check on the products and their relationships to categories and subcategories.
Okay.
I don't know. I really have to coordinate with Becky, see what items are on her list that we haven't addressed yet. Once we've done that, I'll be able to give you a better statement, and the end of the day would be the target.
Okay, fair enough.
Yep. Things are moving along, and I see a lot of wheels turning. That's the good part that I care about at the moment.
Okay, I just want to make sure they're all turning in the right direction.
Right.
Okay.
Well, if you start working on headers and you have questions, let me know. I can always jump back onto a call or to a screen share. But the ones that have been put up for the homepage so far are looking good. Compress them maybe, do some of that work, but that can be also done later. I don't know.
Did you go through your list? Obviously, there are some things that we still have, and Becky and I have talked about again last night. One of the ones I want to make sure, and Marie just reminded us, you haven't completely finished the sizing of all of the different drop-down capability areas in terms of where we put the threads in for certain things. In other words, we can't see the whole display because of the length of the threads. Some of those haven't been completed yet.
That's in the product admin page, product detail admin, Ryan. So there's several of those select, from the left-hand column and move it over to the right-hand column to select it.
Yep.
Several of those towards the bottom of that page, which are just too small, so you can't read everything. I put another note in there for Dustin yesterday saying, if he does nothing else, that would be the first thing he should work on is that one. And then there was one other thing I put a note in there for him in Trello about, because that one is keeping them from finishing up their work.
Okay. That's the area that I'm gathering information about too, these relationships with categories and subcategories. So I might bring back some questions to go over here at the end of the day too.
Well, another thing too that was needs to be done before they can keep working on things is the features and uses, or features and tasks. I can't remember what they're called in there, but those can be added in the DNA management section. But when you add them, they do not show up in those areas on the product detail admin page. So there's nothing for them to select. They can add them over in DNA management, but they can't select them and assign them to a product.
Right. That's something that you and I had talked about just the other day too. The width on the screen is going very slow for me.
Yeah, that's it right there. That's exactly what we're talking about.
The width on the dual lists, were we talking about this section for categories and subcategories, or which one are we talking about?
Those are fine. You drop down a little bit further, Ryan. They're right there.
Features, videos, resources.
Yeah.
Oh, related products?
Yeah, all of those down below.
Okay.
Where you're sitting right now, where you're showing right now.
You got it. You got it. We can do that. I'll try and knock that one out for you before I get into this 1 o'clock call. That way it's done and ready for you.
Okay.
All right, folks. Well, thank you very much. I will talk to you again shortly. But if you have more items like this, let me know. We'll pull them out and do little recordings for each one of them, and build up a little library of tutorials on the different parts.
That's fair enough.
All right. Thank you. I will talk to you shortly.
All right.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thanks, Ryan.
Good luck. See ya.
Yeah. Good luck.
Thank you, Becky.